April 15th, 2022. Halfcast 281, episode 281. Let's go. Of course, I have a few things to share with you guys. An evening of reflection. Shall we? Man climbed onto garage to record Norfolk girl undressing. What has always puzzled me is, where does someone come from in their life that they arrive at the conclusion that this moving forward is going to be what turns them on? This is what excites them now. A Woonsocket man accused of wearing a wig and sneaking into a women's bathroom at a Rentham outlets last year was arrested again after investigators discovered he had also recorded a young girl undressing in her bedroom, according to Massachusetts U.S. Attorney Rachel Rollins. If a person can do this, then you can't tell me that a person doesn't have it in them to dress up, put on something, and go to a bar and sit and meet whoever they want of their choosing. You can wear the wig if you want to. Jacob Guerrero, 23. This is very wrong for anyone of any age, but at 23, you would like to think that there's still a lot of decisions left in the tank before you end up here. He was taken into custody in California Thursday. Guerrero moved there a couple months after his initial arrest, despite being ordered not to leave Massachusetts, according to Boston 25. Investigators assigned to Guerrero's case learned that on top of taking photos of unsuspecting young girls in bathroom stalls while disguised as a woman, this is nuts. He also recorded a naked 11-year-old girl as she changed in her bedroom in Norfolk, according to Rollins. If I'm an officer, I would definitely have to put in a report that he accidentally hit his head 3 or 4 times on the back of the cruiser while I was putting him in the back seat. Guerrero is accused of climbing on top of a garage attached to the victim's home to record her changing. Investigators also believe Guerrero staked out her house for 2 weeks leading up to the recording, since Rollins said he had notes on his phone regarding the time of day the victim and her siblings arrived home, showered, and changed clothes each night. Rollins said Guerrero also had similar notes on his phone for other Massachusetts residences. Guerrero has been charged with sexually exploiting a child, in addition to the 12 counts of possessing child pornography he's facing in the Rentham case. If convicted, he could face up to 30 years in prison and a lifetime of supervised release. Might I suggest a lobotomy? Accused serial scammer Candace Clark hospitalized before bond hearing. How many Sonic rings do you have to collect before they name you a serial scammer? Accused serial scammer Candace Clark had been expected to appear for a bond hearing Saturday. Fooled you again? But she did not end up appearing, as she was hospitalized after complaining of chest pains. Clark's bond was set at $15,000 in her absence. CBS 2's Marissa Power reported the Cook County Sheriff's Office said when Clark was booked into custody Saturday morning, hours ahead of the central bond court call, she said she was having chest pains. She was taken to St. Anthony Hospital, where she remained Saturday afternoon. This would have been so much more cool if she would have disguised herself as a nurse and snuck out of the hospital. Clark faces 6 felony charges, 5 counts of theft by deception, and 1 of false representation of a government employee. Clark was arrested Friday morning following a series of CBS 2 investigations. She was apprehended at the Starbucks at Division and Dearborn Streets by members of the U.S. Marshal Service and the Chicago Police Financial Crimes Unit. She was wearing a hat, a t-shirt, and had several fake IDs with her, according to police sources. Oh, there she is. Somebody's scamming ass auntie. They tracked her to the Starbucks where they called her cell, confirmed she was inside, and then swooped in to arrest her. CBS 2 has been following Clark and found that she has been involved in several elaborate scams that have cost people across Chicago tens of thousands of dollars. She's accused of ripping off anyone can get it, from seniors to millionaires. Victim after victim told CBS 2 Clark was the woman who conned them out of tens of thousands of dollars or rent money. Doesn't matter. I need it all. Police got Clark for what they said she did to Fiore Hadera. Clark leased Hadera's $2 million mansion in Lincoln Park and never paid a cent in rent. It's a moral, but not a financial victory for Hadera, who said Clark left their house damaged almost beyond repair. There is no hope to get money from her, Hadera said. That woman is the textbook definition of what scam life is all about. Because if she's not scamming, she's not eating. In her reports, CBS 2 investigator Dorothy Tucker showed how victims said Clark used fake documents she cut, pasted, and put together like a puzzle to get people to rent to her. Yeah, like a serial killer. My supervisor called me and I could hear her, Darlene, they got her. They got her, said Darlene Simmons. Before I knew it, I couldn't hold back the tears. Simmons also said she was victimized by Clark. She said, Clark, they needed a support group. She said Clark posed as a real estate agent and showed her multiple properties. And the end, Simmons said Clark swindled her out of her $73,000 in life savings. I was between a rock and a hard place, but right now I don't mind being there because they got her. Simmons said other victims said Clark hired actors to help her stage fake professional events, where in one case she impersonated a state official, also illegal. All could potentially result in criminal charges. Tucker actually tried to confront Clark during a staged event in which Clark impersonated a state official in a room of paid actors. Come on. Real life is a movie. Clark told Tucker, get out of my face. The timing of Clark's arrest shortly after Tucker's stories appeared on TV and in social media was no surprise to CBS 2 legal analyst Irv Miller. I think the fact that you're doing this and letting the public know about it will light a fire under the police department, Miller said. This is called a heater case. Now that Channel 2 is interested in this particular topic, while authorities investigate Clark behind bars, we continue to hear from other victims, some of whom they say were scammed by Clark 20 years ago. That lady's a goddamn professional. Not that send me your cash app. She was dealing with elaborate hoaxes. Look that up. Owner of Florida Rehab Network, convicted in $58 million fraud. She submitted patients to excessive drug testing and offered them kickbacks for signing up. I mean, if you're getting drug tested for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, when do you really have time to get high? Carrie Lynn Beadle, 44, and a group of co-conspirators were accused of recruiting patients by offering free or discounted rent and free travel to Florida to stay in sober houses. She didn't care about no rehabilitation, want big money. She would then subject the patients, many of whom were in their teens or early 20s and were still on their parents' insurance plans, to random drug testing, sometimes as often as 3 times a week, for which she would submit insurance claims. If you're a young man or a woman that's in trouble and the court is telling you to get into a drug program as part of your probation, this program is perfect. They don't care about no rehabilitation. You can be in sunny Florida partying your ass off. The frequency of the testing, which could cost as much as $5,000 each time, was considered unnecessary, and the results were often not even looked at by treatment professionals. Prosecutors said sometimes the testing was never even conducted, according to court papers. Because your goal is not rehabilitation, your goal is to get an insurance claim in each one of those beds in your facility. Get some revenue going here, people. And Beetle submitted $58 million in claims for such tests and received more than 20 million in payments. Prosecutors said a message left with Beetle's attorney wasn't immediately returned. A former addict herself, Beetle and her partner, Eric Snyder, founded a substance abuse center, real life recovery. Yeah. Real life indeed. And a pair of sober homes in Delray, Florida in 2010, at a time when Southern Florida became a bastion for treatment centers during the height of the opioid epidemic. Delray has sometimes been referred to as the rehab capital of America. In addition to the excessive drug testing, prosecutors said Beadle and Snyder would also often bill for counseling and other treatment services that were often not conducted. Prosecutors said employees at the centers testified they would regularly forge patient signatures to reflect they had attended counseling sessions they had not. How much you want to bet some patients came back with habits that they didn't go down there for? Snyder, who was also a recovering addict, pleaded guilty in 2020. He was sentenced to 10 years in federal prison, but has yet to begin his term due to his cooperation and agreeing to testify against Beadle. According to court documents, Snyder's attorney declined to comment. Several other defendants who played a role in recruiting patients have also pleaded guilty. Beadle, who was convicted by a jury of conspiring to commit healthcare fraud and money laundering, faces up to 30 years in prison. Daycare owner charged after toddlers eat THC laced goldfish. When they said the snack that smiles back, I didn't think they would mean hallucinogenically. A Virginia woman and daycare owner was charged with 3 counts of cruelty and injury to children after the toddlers under her care consumed THC laced goldfish crackers. Police said Friday at least 3 1-year-old children were taken to a local hospital in March after parents said their toddlers had glassy, bloodshot eyes. This is not funny. According to the Stafford County Sheriff's Office, they also demonstrated uncoordinated and lethargic behavior, according to reports. Doctors at Stafford Hospital Center determined that the toddler symptoms were a result of exposure to THC, which is the psychoactive substance in cannabis. An investigation into the matter led police to 60-year-old Rebecca Swanner, who operated a licensed home daycare service. What is the fascination with people and just needing to have their edibles in the form of their children's favorite snacks? People want to have their edibles as all their kids' favorite snacks. You want to have them as fruit roll-ups, as gummy bears, as Twizzlers. Make them zucchini edibles, broccoli edibles, cauliflower edibles. At least it's not sexy, but your kids will leave them alone. Upon a search of the daycare, authorities recovered several goldfish crackers that had been scattered around a set of high chairs. Tests confirmed the crackers contained traces of THC, and Child Protective Services became involved. The inclusion of CPS then led Swanner to turn herself in to the authorities on Thursday. She was released after posting a $2,000 unsecured bond, according to reports. Fun show, fun show, fun show. That being said, I'm going to wrap this one up, but I'll be sure to talk to you guys very, very soon. Adios.